The drowned body. When I was 9 years old, an unforgettable event came to me, which is still stuck in my mind. That year, my family still lived in the village. We had not yet moved to the city. That was a small and quiet village. There were not many people there, so everyone loved each other. There was a small river behind the village. Every afternoon, women in the village would go to wash their clothes at the river. Some of them had brought ducks to raise there. No one would have been greedy to another, so people didn't worry about losing their ducks there. To little kids like us, the river was like a paradise. We could jump there, swim, and play around whenever we like, especially when it was hot. In summer, we came to the river more than usual. Even in the winter, we also would like to try the cold water for a few minutes there. Kids in our village were very into the river. This had happened during that particular summer, when I was 9 years old. I have been unable to forget those terrible memories up to now. That afternoon, after helping my mom set the table up, then had lunch and washed dishes, I ran to my neighbors and persuaded them to come to the river. As usual, I came with James and Noah. We were playing under the water excitedly. Then suddenly, I looked back to the riverbank and saw someone's red slippers there, on top of a rock in the riverbank. I called my 2 friends and pointed out towards the red slippers, but excepted for us under the river, there was no one around at that moment. We were confused about who might be the owner of those red slippers. Looked carefully, those were girls' slippers. The owner must have been older than us a few years. I had seen some of the older girls in the village wore that kind of slippers. I got an idea. Let's hide them. Look around for a while, but we still saw no one, so one of us tended to hide those slippers out. I had no idea why he could think of that bad idea. We had never hidden or taken anyone's stuff yet. But what for? At first, they tended to take the slippers away. There was no one, but came to think of it, why we should take those girly slippers. Even we could wear inside our house, but if our parents found out, we might be showered by scolds. Alright, this is gonna be a big prank, and it's gonna be fun. After a few discussions, we decided to hide the slippers. Where should we hide it? What do you think? We wanted to hide a secret somewhere, but it should be enough for the owner could find it. After careful discussion, Noah came out of the water to hide them around the riverbank. We finally could find a proper place to hide it. Noah went to a bush nearby and put the slippers inside. After hiding, he backed to the river with us, but I got anxious and kept an eye on the riverbank weirdly. We had waited a long time then, but no one came to find those slippers. Weirdly, the red slippers looked new and very lovely. I didn't know why there was no one came for them then. Time flew by. I didn't mind much about that and continued to play out with my friends. But then, I got an unsecured feeling as if someone was watching us from underneath the river. The insecurity feeling had grown more and more in me. I had been crazy about that feeling, as if there was someone tended to hold my legs and dragged down to the river. That made me scared. My heart got a bit shaken. What wrong? I'm cold. I don't want to swim anymore. The annoyance kept appearing around, so I wanted to head back. It feels like there is someone under the water who is watching us. I suddenly spitted out those feelings to my friends. Me too. I'm a bit scared of it. I don't want to be here anymore. Noah also got the same feeling as mine. After seeing me return to the river bank, he told James and followed me. You 2 cowards. There was only James left there. He kept teasing us. After a few minutes alone in the river, James also came back. I wondered if he sensed something like me and Noah, why he was so calming. Then each of us headed home. On that particular night, I was turning and tossing. I got tired and unable to sleep. When I could conk out, I got a nightmare. In the dream, I was standing at the river bank with my friends. That was at dawn. There was no one else, and everything was so quiet. I wondered why I was at the river at that moment, why I thought that was a dream. Weirdly, while I was drowning in my thoughts, I heard a rustle nearby. I curiously came closer to the river. I guess that might be someone's footsteps. I came closer and saw a girl. She looked older than me a few years. She was digging bushes around the area, and likely to look for something. I stood there watching her looking for a while. She didn't seem to care for my existence until I got bored and tended to walk away. She heard my footsteps and turned to me. Her face was so pale. Her eyes were black and went haywire, lifelessly. She didn't seem like a human being. Her face freaked me out, so I stepped back a few steps. I could be clearly sure I was standing in the middle, more than a meter behind her and a long distance in front of the river. Still, I was unsure how I could fell to that familiar river. The more I struggled, the deeper I sank into the river, but noticeably, I didn't run out of breath. In opposite, I could breathe normally and glare at someone who was observing me from underneath. I gave another look that turned out the scary girl I had met earlier. She was staring at me with her deadly face, which really scared me to death. I screamed out and awakened at that moment. That was simply a scary nightmare. Then I was tossing and turning the rest of the night. The following day, I bore panda eyes and went to school. After classes, I waited for James and Noah to come home together. I forgot to tell you, James and Noah weren't my classmates back then. I had waited for a while, and I just saw Noah but not James came out that day. My classroom was downstairs. Their classrooms were next to each other, and they were joined at the hip, but that day, there was no James. James's parents have called to ask for him a day off. I heard that he is sick, probably he has a fever. That was really weird, so I had asked Noah about James, and he replied, "I had a dream last night. I saw we came to the river, as usual. Then there was a scary girl, then I fall to the water." Noah had asked me why I got my eye circles. I started to tell him my nightmare. "What? You also dreamed that?" "I got a nightmare as well last night." Noah's face had changed after hearing about my nightmare. He also had a nightmare the night earlier. Noah told me that he dreamed he came to the small river, saw the girl, and fell to the water. Just like mine. That was impossible. No way we dreamed the same like that. I'm wondering if James got the same dream as us? We were wondering what about James. We had been hung out the day earlier. So, did he dream like us? We were deducing a bit. We suddenly remembered the red slippers hidden in the bush. The girl must have looked for those slippers. We had glared at each other for a while. After that, we decided to come to James's place to clarify if he dreamed about that girl. If so, that was not a good sign at all for all of us. We rushed to James's house. James's parents had gone to the market for their business, so there was only him in the house by himself. James opened the door and welcomed us to his home. He looked really not well. Noah and I went straight to the point. Accordingly, we told him about our nightmare, and as our thought, James had the same one. He had a fever in the morning afterward. So the girl came to find her slippers which we have hidden? We were all unable to remember how the girl in our dreams looked like. We were just too frightened to remember, at that moment since we had seen the same detail in our dreams. Might be she tried to go into our dreams to warn us to return her slippers. We gotta return her slippers to where it was. We need to end that kinda nightmare and didn't let the girl chase us to our dream. We agreed to return the slippers back. We hurriedly ran to the river. James came with Noah and me even though he got sick, but he tried to go after us. Once we reached the river, we were amazed. Villagers were gathering around. People didn't usually gather that much typically, so that must have been something happened. When coming closer, we saw a dead body, and everyone brought the body to the riverbank. We were curious who could that be. Once we could see the dead body's face, which made us scared to death. We realized that was the girl in our dream last night. There was a sprayer in her back. Her body had been buried then by her family. After everything had been handled, people had left, we came to the bush where we hid in her slippers, took them out, and put them back to the rock as us, then hurriedly left as well. When I got home, I heard people were discussing her death. That was Smith's daughter. That day, she was working. As usual, she brought the sprayer to spray pesticide. After finishing her job, she went to the river to wash her legs, but unfortunately, she had fell to the river and died. She was bringing the heavy sprayer at the moment she fell. On top of that, she didn't know how to swim, so she struggled in the water for minutes, then drowned in the river and died. The day she died was the day we had found the slippers and hid them out. When Noah and I were swimming around, we had a bad feeling, just because the girl died under our feet in the river. After we returned the red slippers, the following day, in the morning, we tried to go to the river early on the way to school. We realized that the red slippers had been disappeared. That might be there was someone took them away, or might be the girl had been taken it back. And after the red slippers event, we didn't even come out to the river ever.